So, interestingly enough, there was talk about Harry Styles negotiating some kind of performance residency in Vegas, but that seems to not have gone anywhere, or at least the story broke, and then now it seems like it's inconclusive. But apparently, he hasn't released an album, but somehow Harry's house has somehow gotten back into the official streaming. So, Forbes apparently covered this. Interestingly enough, why is Forbes covering Harry and not like Louis Tomlinson's amazing business venture and his, different projects that are netting him money? But they are covering Harry because the album came in at number 96 again. It had been at number one. Then the song Watermelon Sugar, which he won the Grammy for, is back on the charts at number 90, which 2 years after he won the Grammy, and then I guess 3 years after it was released. So yeah, very interesting. I think that like there's just been an increased fan activity, and nostalgia is uh, fueling streaming and sales, and yeah, just somehow it comes back around. And why it does that, I don't know. I remember a similar thing happened with the song Red Red Wine, which was by UB40. It was an 80s hit. It had two distinct lifespans in terms of it being a hit. So Red Red Wine was a hit, and it wasn't a hit the second time by a different cover. It was the exact same track. So I forget what was fueling it, but this has happened before, even before the advent of streaming. So let's see. If we were to do a Forbes article on Louis, what would I write? That's going to be an upcoming post, by the way. However, I wanted to talk about, is watermelon sugar misogynistic? Because somebody in the comments mentioned it, and I actually screenshotted their analysis, which I thought was really interesting because it's all this like symbols and metaphors, and the lyrics do hint at it, but Harry later on in a concert confirmed that Watermelon Sugar is about definitely something that is 18 plus. Now, why does it matter if it's misogynistic? Well, mainly because in the ongoing chats or talks that I've had about just the evolution of Harry Styles's public image, you would never have thought that the cute 16-year-old that charmed everybody on X Factor in 2010 would come out with just the visuals of the video and then the lyrics and then be on stage performing and saying, "Yes, it's about this." However, he is 31, so I would expect that people change from 16 to 31. It's that, when you think of personality development, there's all these rites of passage, and turning 16, and then finishing high school, starting college, graduating from college, your first job, first real major adult relationship, first time you move in with somebody, all those things, that those moments, those pivotal moments will change you. So it's you're still forming your personality, and no one should be surprised if who a person was at 16 is not who you're going to see when they're even 21, 26. So that's just life. However, people also do become more of themselves, and some aspects of a person they endure. And if you ever watch, so I've been on this Tokyo hotel thing for like the last couple days because the algorithm sent me down that little rabbit hole, and it clearly is aware of my aesthetics and what I find intriguing. And I'm not surprised actually that they did that, because if you think of like me referring to the lead singer of Tokyo Hotel, which is a German band. Now, unlike One Direction, they formed naturally. They were a group of friends in what was formerly East Germany who formed on their own. And it was these two twins, these identical twin named Bill and Tom Kaulitz, and their two friends, the drummer being Stefan and the other guitarist being George. So they were all around the same age One Direction was when they first sort of caught eyes in Germany. But the lead singer, Bill Kaulitz, who was on the German version of Star Search when he was 13 back in the early '00s. So in 2003, there's still footage. If you go into the YouTube archives, you'll see it. And he's very like similar. There's certain mannerisms because he's performing a song. He's actually performing it in English, which is quite cute. And he apparently doesn't win, but that clearly didn't stop him. He he's dancing and singing, and his dance moves are very similar to the moves he later exhibited with the band's first couple of years, and even now, because Tokyo Hotel just went on a tour, and if you go to their official YouTube, they're posting videos from their tour. Some things don't change, and that's why when Bill Kaulitz has those flamboyant outfits and he's sort of this edgy fashion style, it's congruent, and you can see his evolution. He's always loved fashion. He's experimented with different outfits, and he's now 35. But it makes sense. Everything kind of it pieces together well, and the mannerisms, the song style, the dance moves, just how their movement, it it only just becomes more them. It becomes more their signature. Like you can see the you can see the signature style of a person very early on around adolescence. So why I find Harry's evolutions still just a study in a contrast, and why I'm agreeing with the commenters who say it just doesn't seem like him is because unlike Bill Kaulitz, it looks like it's a sudden sort of sharp turn change, and I don't know if a lot of it's marketing because yeah, he has a whole team with him, but I also just don't see him being very comfortable with it. And I look at Freddie Mercury, and Freddie Mercury was known for being really shy. Like there was a Freddie Mercury bio that was done, or biopic that was done like a long time ago, and they go into his early childhood and the school he went to that was really formal. And Freddie Mercury had like his siblings talking, and people who knew him from before Queen say that he was really really shy, and there was like a story that he wouldn't like leave the bathroom or something. I don't know, but look it up because people do create these personas. So, okay, I just looked it up. Now, I don't remember if Freddie Mercury had an autobiography, but this is what the quick search tells me. But he was described as really shy, gentle, and kind as a child. But that was similar to what he was described as throughout his whole career. And off stage is that that shy boy was still there, um, and he was apparently very self conscious growing up because he had an overbite that stood out when he was a kid. Because when you're a kid, your face hasn't you haven't grown into your face yet. But what was consistent about Freddie Mercury was Freddie wasn't his name; that was a stage name. But when he was off stage, very different personality. Um, but he looked comfortable playing that part. It's like an alter ego. So alter egos are almost like elements of that person that maybe don't get seen, but they're there. Maybe people close to them see that side to them when they're like at home, but the in general, people who know them more professionally maybe don't see that side. But the alter ego is not. It's not an act. It's like it's more just you you bring out a side of you that's there, and it is a side that only will come out for with certain like conditions in the environment. But it's fundamentally it is not an act. It is you. So that's why even though Freddie was described as very shy and gentle, the kind of outrageous, flamboyant dance scenes and expressions don't feel fake, and they look very intuitive when you watch all those performances. So, is Watermelon Sugar misogynistic? Well, I don't know, because the thing is, if it was not Harry Styles performing Watermelon Sugar, like, say it was, I don't know, I can't think of someone. Well, if it had been somebody that was more presenting all the time as a bit of a machismo or very masculine presenting, but had elements of what they call toxic masculinity. And if they sung that song, even if they pulled it off really well, they it would I would say it was a misogynistic song because part of it is if it's misogynistic, is it misogynistic because it is intentionally that way, or is it just him being provocateur? Uh, Provocateur behavior is not necessarily um, misogynistic. It's just you're just being provoking. Um, so, but does it matter? Do we talk about it? Well, I mean, I think Harry Styles is kind of a cultural icon, and he does have like if I do a Harry video, there, it's going to automatically get like 4 times the amount of views in far less time than Niall, which kind of bugs me because Niall's really talented. So Harry's that's his talent. He pulls you in just like Freddie. But Freddie, I always got the sense Freddie was true to himself at a time when it was really quite revolutionary. If you think of Boy George, thank God he do boxing because him dressing androgynously, people targeted him. Like, I mean, this was back in the 70s before people, before there was evolution and our understanding of people being diverse in many ways. But with Boy George, it's like it took some damn guts and some conviction to do that. And that's how he broke the barrier. Now, people there's a certain authenticity to do that. And I think the reason why we still need to talk about watermelon sugar is that I don't know. I guess Harry just looks really uncomfortable when he's not playing this provocateur. Because when he's not on stage, he does dress a little different. In, in in fact, a lot more different at times. And his persona, it looks irritated and annoyed and please don't take my photo and very picky about which fans he'll interact with. Now, I don't know why he's doing that. Um, I I think yeah, maybe it's a reaction to being a 16-year-old and your privacy violated. And yeah, he did get the most attention, so maybe it's just like he's really had enough. But then Louis at one point, like maybe not in the beginning, Louis eventually did get a lot of attention. I mean, Louis's personal life has been uh, invaded too, even during One Direction days towards the end. So Louis, though, is loving the spotlight, and it's not because oh, finally it's my turn. It's more he's just really enjoying himself, and that's a different feeling. So that's why when Harry says, "Oh, don't look at me," and people make excuses for him, I don't know if I buy it, but he is, shall we say, iconic, and he still seems to have a lot of like fairly young fans like everyone went down some kind of One Direction rabbit hole, I will say, after Liam sadly passed. And the early poppy stuff does attract a younger crowd. It was designed to do that. And with people discovering them or rediscovering them, it's like, oh, well, wonder what they're all up to because they're still around, they're still making music, and then they stumble upon Watermelon Sugar, and it's like, ah, what are you doing? Um, so where am I going with this? I guess the thing is, it's like, who is Harry Styles? Like, really, who is he? Because I look at the last, say, 2, 3 years that One Direction was around, like the year before Zayn left, when Zayn left, and then that last year before the hiatus. And when he was on stage, some of those showmanship that we still see, it was there. But he just looked like he was having more fun. He just looked like he was more himself. Um, and he was really quite there was some daringness of his stage act because there was that infamous concert in London on September 28th. That was the anniversary, and he was shouting anniversary all day long, or like throughout the night. And people guessed that, oh, did Louis forget the anniversary? And he was really mad. Maybe, but you just don't. There was still that spark, and he seemed to be moving much more naturally, even if he was getting a little edgy, because sometimes it wasn't totally a family show. Um, but now there's like, if you're very good at performing, you get really good at it. It's almost like second skin. But there's something not quite natural, and that bugs me.